Welcome to Comic Book Wednesdays, a weekly series or somewhat weekly series where we talk about comic books. We're your hosts. I'm Ian.
I'm Al.
And I'm Shane.
If you enjoy our content, please subscribe. This week we are actually going over 2 weeks of issues because the Phillies and their World Series um, made it hurt my feelings, but that's beside the point. Today we did Infinity 4 and 5, Avengers 21, 22, and 23, and New Avengers 11, not in that order. All by Jonathan Hickman. And of course, we're making our way closer and closer to Secret Wars. Um, okay, guys, so we have a lot here. Anybody have any initial thoughts they want to start with?
Go ahead, Shane.
Well, one of the main things that really got me was Captain Steve Warcrimes Rogers.
He really was. We were kind of talking about it last night. I was like, is he going to do it? Does he know? He knows, right? He totally knows, right? Wave the white
totally
flag.
Knows. Oh yes, we're gonna surrender. Let's send Thor Odinson to surrender. Yeah, because that's great recipe there, bud.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with it because they were getting their butts pushed in, and Cap was getting desperate. So.
And killing one of them doesn't really do much except swing the morale, freeing the city or the planet of Hala. But all I could think of is the scene from BVS where Batman's like, "Do you bleed? You will." And it's Cap literally just wanted to find out if these guys could die, and they can.
I would love to have, seen a panel where Cap goes to Thor and says, "Okay, I want you to surrender," because I imagine Thor being like, "You want to run that by me again?"
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Thor wasn't really cool with the idea.
I'm not sure he needed to throw Mjolnir around a sun, but
he's
for the effect, it was pretty cool.
The guy was like, "You're armed." No, I'm not. Chuck.
No, I'm not. Sure.
Yeah. And the space stuff is really picked up for me. You know how we were. We kind of weren't loving it. But geez,
It did pick up really nice.
I'm still not in love with it, but it has improved.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the use of the characters. Maybe it's because I'm learning who they are a bit more. I'm realizing we got the Super Scroll here. I didn't notice that their leader was the Super Scroll. But then at one point in one of the panels, you see him stretching his arms, and one of them's on fire, and the other one looks like the Thing's hand. So it's like, oh, that's totally a Super Scroll. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I
didn't realize that was a thing, but yeah. I paid attention to that panel.
He's I think he's I don't know how obscure he is, but he's definitely a Fantastic Four villain. And honestly, the only reason I know he exists is because I played Lego Marvel: The Avengers. But of course, seeing him there. Just a sec here, guys. Can you guys take over? I'm troubleshooting some things on my end, so you guys start talking about stuff. I can't lead right now because my brain is fishing for other things.
No, that's fine.
No, you're good.
So, yeah, that whole scene with Thor throwing his hammer and demolishing that guy's chest, it definitely improved the morale and brings it around and kind of back to Earth, with them finishing off the space stuff was cool, it was short and sweet and kind of okay, we're done with fighting in space, which was odd, but
yeah. Well, in that issue too, you really got to see that was the same issue where Black Bolt screamed at Thanos, and dude just took it, slammed his head into the ground. From what you guys had talked about with Black Bolt, I didn't think that was possible.
It definitely makes you think that Black Bolt's not as strong as he is, but
Or that Thanos really is like this god
that
tier.
strong, yeah.
That's the thing. He really is just that god tier. Like Black Bolt's no like weakling. I mean, he's not Thanos
No, not at
level,
all.
but
It kind of takes it funny from going from like the Thanos chopper to, you know, him taking Black Bolt's mightiest attack in the face. You know what I mean?
yeah, comic books are definitely weird.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Thanos chopper thing was real until I saw like the Loki reference, and I was like, oh damn, that is a real thing.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, it's pretty
mm-hmm.
funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But let's. I think we needed to talk a little bit about something that happened in New Avengers 11, where we kind of learned why the Builders have been traversing through the galaxy or universe, trying to destroy Earth, and it kind of ties it into the whole story. So we learned, that they're trying to destroy Earth because if they destroy this Earth, they figure that it'll stop all the incursions from happening. Or did I misunderstand that? Are there the Builders across all universes trying to?
I'm not sure because they refer to the Earthlings and humans as a parasite. So I couldn't quite grasp if it was just them trying to destroy the Earth because of the incursions, or is it because they just don't like Earthlings and we're a parasite? You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
yeah, I can kind of get that because like I took both things from that because I saved this panel where he's talking to Reed, and Reed's like, no, that's not true. The cascading effect of their universe in dying the rate of all things, killing a single Earth is like killing a pebble to a planet. Like basically, you guys are overreacting. And then the
right.
builder just turns around and is like, "Oh, cool, yeah, no, we're just gonna nuke all of them." And I'm sure Reed's like, "That's not what I was getting at, but okay."
Right, because I mean, Builders are right. I mean, like if they destroy every Earth and every reality, then the incursions stop because the incursions are happening at Earth.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so I
then,
mean, I can see that. God, that
right,
gets
so
into like some Thanos logic of like, oh, from the movies, like limited resources. I'm gonna wipe out half of all life in the universe so that everyone can live. This is the same logic. Like, we're gonna kill all the Earths to make it so that the universe survives.
right, like the numbers game is, I mean, honestly, you're killing an infinite amount of people, right? Because there's infinite Earths, or at least
Right.
that's how I get it. But um, yeah, but it doesn't necessarily make sense when you think about it logically. It's comic book logic, but like, what can you do? Either way, the Avengers kind of put a kaput to the Builders, and I would say it happens pretty abruptly. Like, I don't know if I necessarily got the finish to the story that I was complaining about so much.
It just kind of like, oh, and then they lost here, and then lost here, and then lost here, and the war's over.
Right, they were losing, but then it's I don't know. It was kind of silly in my
It was
opinion.
just odd how he wrapped it up. Like, it was
Right,
incomplete.
they had to be they had to be at Earth by the end of Infinity, and we only had so many books in between then and now, so we have to do this.
Right.
I don't know. What did you think about that, Shane?
Can you please repeat the last sentence? I'm just brain's a little spazzy. As if the listeners can hear, I am um, a frog has crawled its way into my throat and it's nesting there currently. So that's affecting some things. If you could repeat your last sentence.
Yeah, no. Basically, like I was feeling that it ended too quickly. The whole space saga of Infinity. It kind of felt as though the the momentum has swung, and then they were trying to finish the story in a couple panels, and that's what they did.
No, I completely agree because I mean, okay, for our listeners, we've been talking about this for a little bit about how they never really felt like they had a place for the space stuff. It was either periods of high intensity or kind of dialogue that might have been necessary, might have been a little bit just like kind of filler in a sense. Here, like in the past few issues that we've been reading, I really felt like the build was nice and they finally found their pace. But then after the events that we had on Hala, it was almost as if they were just kind of like, okay, cool, wrap it up, we're done.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that seemed kind of dumb.
They wanted to get to the cool Thor moment, and then they were done with it.
Yeah, like there hasn't been any correct pacing, and they had a really good job with the build-up. Everything was going really well. But then right as soon as they just kind of ended it and they were doing all the like worlds of like this is an Avengers world now. And then they're like, okay, cool, let's go back to Earth. It's like you could have spent more time on that and then given it a nice wrap up. It would have made sense.
Right. Or just spend a little bit more time just on each planet. Give me a battle to look at. I don't know. It's a comic book with action heroes in it. You want to see a little bit more fighting.
Yeah.
I did like seeing, like how we talked about last week, seeing these usually villainous characters, acting as a ally to the Avengers and stuff through the whole space thing. Like seeing Ronan and the accusers from their perspective of not necessarily being the bad guys, and like that was cool to me. What Ronan did at the very end of the one comic with what is he, the black giant or whatever it is.
Oh,
One of
with
the
Black Dwarf is what you're
Black
thinking
Dwarf.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was intense.
where you like
That
bash
was
his head in.
really good.
Yeah.
Dude, I honestly thought that guy was dead already. If I'm being honest, I thought Thanos killed him.
No, he just beat the shit out of him, I think.
Yeah, totally. But that guy's got first he got his head beaten by Thanos, and then Ronan comes and finishes the job. Like, jeez.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
No, that was pretty good. I actually, the one of the lines that the ending scroll says, where he's like, "That was more enjoyable than anticipated." Now what? And it's like, I feel you. I completely agree with that. Watching him just cool, done, head smash. That was nice.
Yeah, totally. Trying to. Oh, I remember the next plot point that I kind of wanted to talk about. So, like, Thanos has found the world-destroying bombs, the antimatter ones that were being kept in the necropolis, and it seems like that's the next big point here, right? Thanos kind of got his son, got the son he wants. He's going to kill him, or he wants to kill him, and now he has these bombs, and he plans on destroying Earth with it. So,
Which I gotta say, when you're done there, something about the sun that just made me laugh.
no, go ahead. You can talk about it.
So he just got his power from Terrigenesis, and like, he spent his whole life trying to be a healer. Now he kind of looks like Thanos, and he causes destruction. And then here's Ebony Maw. I'm pretty sure that was Maw, who was like, "Oh, well, this armor will help you," and he's just like, "Oh, yeah, I'll just not question this at all and put this on. Thanks, bro."
Yeah, right.
If it's gonna help me not kill people.
It's like you definitely did not get your IQ from your dad. That is for sure.
Did Thanos ever give a reason why he was so obsessed with killing his son?
I think he just wants to kill all his offspring. I think he sees them as a threat.
Okay.
Thanos being this like egotistical god figure, he wants to be the only one that can do it, and here's somebody else who can make destruction happen a lot easier than Thanos can.
Right. He's a threat. That's how I see it.
I actually do have a question, because there was something I didn't quite understand that maybe the two of you could explain to me.
Sure.
With the Terrigenesis bomb that activated, that went through all of the world, was the point of that to eventually just hope to reach Thanos' kid, or was that just like a final stand from the Inhumans?
I think it was to make the Inhumans stronger. They knew that they were going to lose their capital and their people were going to be scattered, but the more Inhumans, the better.
Okay.
You know, that's how I was seeing it. Also, this book comes in a really weird time for Marvel Comics because the MCU is in full swing, and they're fighting Fox, like with the X-Men. So how do you fight the X-Men? You make them less relevant by making the Inhumans more relevant, and that's what they were trying to do in this era. Like, so I see that as that type of move. You know, the more Inhumans, like you make them more. Because I'm pretty sure also around this time the X-Men were pretty much like nothing. There were a few left. They were all but extinct because of Scarlet Witch's House of M, which really only happened like a year or so before this, or 2 years before this. Like not that much further.
No, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way because like that whole thing with Fox, I keep forgetting about because I know when they made the Inhumans, to be honest, I never actually watched it. I just heard from everyone around me, people telling me like, "Hey, if you like Marvel, don't look at this."
Yeah, Inhumans was bad. I hope that they do them again in a better light, because as we can see here, there are some cool characters.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did like Aston Mount as Black Bolt, but I mean, it's not hard to play a character where you really don't talk.
He was good, and he was good in for the 5 minutes that he was in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than like the Avengers taking back Titan, they're really close to Earth now. And then Thanos has his antimatter bomb, and I feel like that's how they're going to wrap up this story, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Which is really interesting that they had those. Was that more for like the purpose of if the Inhumans ever went to war?
The antimatter bombs? No, they're in the Necropolis, so they were chilling with Black Panther and the Illuminati. They're the weapons they were creating to kind of act as like world destroyers for incursions and things of that nature.
That's right. Sorry, I said Inhumans. I meant the Wakandans. My apologies.
No, it's cool. So yeah, nobody knows of their existence except for the Illuminati. So like, what is Cap going to say when he finds these weapons? He sees the type of weapons they have here, unless they're gonna like hide them from him. But I feel like that's going to be pretty difficult to do.
Well, they've already done like a lot of things that are going to disappoint Cap, in my opinion. You know, like the whole once he finds out about the memory wipe thing, I think they're going to have more issues with that than even the bombs. You know, like that's like a total disrespect in Cap's mindset. I would feel like, you know.
Oh, totally. How would you feel if you found out one of your closest friends wiped your memory?
To wipe your memory. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed.
I feel like, I mean, Cap is, you know, we've seen him go from like being calm to being aggressive. I feel like it would be a nice panel if that gets released. If he just outwardly just punches Tony and then just says something to the effect of like, "We'll discuss this later."
I mean, I could definitely see that happening.
Like that was deserved.
You could totally see something like that. I mean, honestly, like Cap's willing to put his own needs aside for the greater good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect Cap thing to do. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
Although, you know, war crimes Rogers, so he might do something worse. You never know.
Speaking of which, like, I'm pretty sure.
Now on forever.
I'm pretty sure the alien races were like, this is kind of fucked up. Like,
Because right after that, they were all like, "No, we didn't do this as a group. We did this for you, Captain, because you're fucking scary."
it's,
Uh,
oh, Cap. Also, like,
No.
I'm pretty sure what's his face had a couple more cool moments. The Star Brand. There was a couple panels with him whooping some ass, which is kind of cool.
No, that was really cool.
so I have a hard time seeing all of the panels because I'm reading it on my cell phone, and sometimes
Can
I don't catch all of that stuff. I think I might try reading it on a tablet, a little
question
bit bigger.
question for you? Do you zoom in on each panel? Like, you can like double tap the panel and it zooms in,
So
right?
I have it sideways, so it kind of like reads from top to bottom, and you can zoom in where you want. But
Yeah.
sometimes I miss stuff like that, so I think I'm gonna have to start reading it on a tablet where I can see things a little bit bigger and see these things that I keep missing that you guys talk about.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know
Oh, that's totally fair.
if you need any assistance with like login stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah. I don't. So like, I'm sure people can tell. Like, we're going through like 6 different comic books here, so there's a lot of information to go through. Um, I'm kind of at my point where I might need some memory jogging here. Is there any specific points that you guys want to talk about that we haven't? Because I kind of touched on all the ones that I kind of had in the back of my mind.
Um,
Uh, I'm gonna browse through my notes real quick. If you want to take a sec, Al.
I didn't really have anything. I was just kind of trying to think along as myself.
Well, there was a
Uh,
couple of things that surprised me.
okay.
So when the Illuminati were talking to um, one of the architects, I believe, and the dude in red pulls that like spider thing just directly at a strange's head. I kind of had the feeling of like, okay, well, if they're really trying to like get these people or like use them for something, he would have left that there. So is that like a good faith gesture, or was that more of a we're just going to show you our power because you didn't notice this but we did, therefore we're better than you?
So, though I didn't sense that those builders were nefarious. Like, they wanted to show the Avengers, the new Avenger, or not the new Avengers, like the Illuminati. They wanted to show the Illuminati that destroying the Earth, the other Earths, was really the only way to go about what to solve the issue. They almost kind of wanted to make sure that they were on board with their mission, and how else to earn additional trust than to like kind of like pull the um, the thing out of Strange's head, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I was getting to. I just wanted to make sure because like that was definitely it really could have been taken as just a power play as well.
Totally, could have been that as well. A showing strength. Like, you don't want to fuck with us, but at that point, they already kind of acknowledged that their brethren in our universe were destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh,
is this is one of the problems I have with modern comics is like the amount of changing of universes and stuff like that. You know, like is this all? Is there any difference between what's going on in this universe, or is there like did they get destroyed in a different universe, and then the new Avengers is taking in a separate universe, or am I just is there two? They're not two different things going on there.
I think you're overthinking it.
Okay. Well, I wasn't
Um,
sure, so.
I know. I'm hoping I understood you right. So you're asking is so New Avengers and Avengers both take place in the same universe, right? So
Right.
we're on the same page there. Um, but when the new set of builders came and blew up their Earth, they were blowing it up in another universe, the other incursion Earth. That's where they
Okay.
were destroying it. Are we on the same page? You got that?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Now, then I don't know if I understood your question.
It just seemed like, and I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around my own question, because it seemed like these builders showed up and they were talking to the Avengers in the one comic, and it seemed like they had no idea what was going on in the other two comics. You know what I mean? Like, it just seemed like,
There were two sets of builders, right? So
right,
like the builders that we have fighting the Avengers in space, and then the second set of builders showed up in New Avengers 11. They were the only time they've been around was in this new issue, and they basically brought the Illuminati onto their ship. They were like, "Hey, like the only way to stop incursions is by destroying Earths. We're going to destroy this one, but like just so you know, like it's not going to be good. Like your Avengers stopped our brothers, and we
right,
honestly we needed them. So like we're gonna let you go, but you need to do the hard thing and destroy your Earth." And that's where like Reed was like, it's not that black and white. It's not that simple,
right,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah. I hope that helped clear it up a bit for you.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't. So this is like, in my experience, really the only story that this and Spider Verse are really the only multiverse stories you tend to get with.
It just seems very confusing when they jump back and forth from universes, and I know it doesn't happen much, but when that happens, I get a little confused.
Yeah, I get that, and just be thankful we're not reading Crisis on Infinite Earths. That storyline is so bonkers
Oof.
confusing.
Yeah.
Um, and the good thing is that when we do get the Secret Wars, there's not going to be any of that because it's all together. It's all one big thing. So
Because we only have a couple of issues before we start moving on to our next thing, right?
Infinity will finish next week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there is another event called Original Sin, which we'll be reading. Um,
Ooh.
so that's going to be fun. And then after that, it's just finishing up Avengers and New Avengers until we get to Secret Wars. Um, and I think it's going to go pretty quick, honestly. Um, but so far, so good. I mean, with with Infinity coming up, where do you guys see this ending? Do you have any type of like guesses on like how it's going to end and what the status quo might be going forward?
Hmm.
I'm sorry, repeat that question again.
How do you feel Infinity is going to end, and what do you how do you think it's going to change the status quo of our storyline going forward?
Well, I want to say I think Thanos is going to get his butt pushed in. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Because it's always good when Thanos can get his ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
How it affects the overall story, I'm not sure, because how much is Thanos really affecting the overall of the end game? You know what I mean?
Right. It's hard to say. I mean, Thanos is going to change some things here on Earth. I think um, we're going to see the Avengers have to do a lot of cleanup, especially with the Terrigen. I think that's going to be a big thing. Um, we also got to realize the whole sword defense system of Earth was infiltrated and taken out by Thanos. So maybe there'll be stuff like that I think might be changed up. Um,
Yeah,
I'm
because that
willing.
was a whole debauchery right there with the sword, um, with the space station and everything. Like what happened there? They just like decided to let him have it. Like it didn't even seem like they put up a fight. But when what the hell is the guy's name? The Black Dwarf. When he had control of the station, it was like, okay, this thing's unlimited power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some's gonna have to go with that. Shane, you're gonna say something?
I mean, I do think it is going to change in a very weird direction, but like how to comprehend that, I'm not sure. Just because so many big things have happened, and like I've seen this a lot with Doctor Who. When something that big happens, there's going to be equally big repercussions. And so I don't necessarily know if I have a prediction. It just leaves me, it leaves me curious, if anything. Because, with Sword, with Thanos, all of the other things that went on, like all the additions of new heroes, is Captain Universe going to stick around? Because she didn't seem like she was doing too good. So it just leaves me, like, each issue leaves me with more questions, which I think is great. But it also, like, I'm maintaining a good level of curiosity.
That's good. I kind of had
Which
the
that
same.
was. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian.
No, I was gonna say I'm on the same page. What were you saying? Go ahead.
But that's one of the scenes we didn't talk about was when she woke up from her sleep or whatever and like completely annihilated those builders. Just like
Oh,
burned them all to death.
yeah, that was a really cool scene.
That was badass too. Sorry, but I just wanted to interject that.
You're good.
No,
You're
that
good.
was, like, immediately like, oh, you don't believe in me anymore. That's fine.
You
Kills
burn
all of
now.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think a big story point, at least for a little bit, will be Inhumans. I think that's going to be huge, just because I think we're at that point in the Marvel comics where they want to push that storyline more than anything. Um, Curious to see what like Shield and Sword do, because they tend to push those agencies a lot in comic
Yeah.
books. Um, Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Secret Invasion show that they have, Amelia Clark is going to be in it, and they casted her as the chick with the green hair.
A
The
Polaris.
no,
Or
she
okay. Yeah,
Brand,
the head of
head of Sword, yeah.
yeah.
She won't start as such, I don't think, but that's going to be her like end game, right? So
Right.
that's kind of cool. So it looks like they got her as a good role, and they're going to keep her around, which is nice. I like her
Which,
as an
speaking of other
actress.
Marvel stuff, I have a question for the two of you. Um, are either of you going to see Black Panther this weekend?
Uh, I'm going to be away, so I hope I do. I heard that like Namor is pretty cool in it, and also like the director was saying Namor is on the same strength level as Thor, so I think that's pretty cool.
This
I
is
don't know how
definitely
I
going to be
feel
like.
about that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, no. I don't know how I feel about that. Him being the same strength level as Thor and Hulk and Captain Marvel because she's supposed to be that strong as well too. But he doesn't seem like that type of a strength character from what
Mm-hmm.
I limited knowledge I have of him.
He's always been really strong. I don't know if he's been on Thor's level, but like the MCU has weird power scaling. Like it just always
They
has.
really do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you have Captain Marvel who can fly through a starship and destroy it, but Thanos holds her back with one hand.
Yeah. Well, Thanos is also that strong. So
Yes.
as we seen.
Ungodly so.
Yeah. Are you going to go see it, Shane?
We haven't decided. I was just thinking that this is going to be my first, like, aside from like I knew a little bit about Doctor Strange and like was starting to read up on that before the first movie came out. Um, but this will be like my first Marvel movie that I'm going to see where I have like more than just a couple of things here and there with the character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I know a decent bit about Namor now. And then going to see the movie, I can just sit there and be like, oh, okay, this is going to be cool. I know a little bit about you, and I'm just going to be sitting there the entire time, be like, all right, where is this asshole?
I totally get that. That's actually really exciting. I didn't think about it that way. So I'm really curious to see your point of view once you do see it. And maybe we'll save that for this because I think it'd be fun for us to get that on audio. Just hearing your first reactions to it. But it's going to be interesting. Just a heads up, they pronounce his name Namor in the movie. Is from what I heard. Is they use Namor instead of Namor, and I think it's because they went it with a more like Aztec background for him in this. So, be interesting to see how that plays out.
I don't necessarily think I'm going to be seeing it this weekend, but
that's fair.
You know, that's for different reasons. But I am interested to see your initial reaction to it. I think it'll be pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll have to give a non-spoiler because I doubt we'll all have seen it by next week if you go this weekend. I'm going to be up in Harrisburg for a wedding, so if I do see it, it's going to be up there. I'm not sure. Nice. That's going to be we're going to decide tomorrow. But now I think maybe we could wrap it up here. I don't really have much more to say about these issues. I think we're in a good place. You guys agree? Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Shane? Okay, cool.
No, I think that wrapped up pretty nicely.
Okay. So as I was kind of talking about earlier, we're finishing Infinity next week. So we'll do Infinity 6, New Avengers 12, and Avengers 24. Avengers 24, I think, is the first book that's not a part of Infinity. It's kind of like after it. You'll even see it. It will have the same like kind of design to the cover as the others. But yeah, so thank you everybody for listening. And if you've been here this long, I'm sure you're already kind of subscribing and liking. But if you're new, please do so. We're enjoying it. And if you are new, go back and listen to the other ones because it's kind of its own thing, where we've been building so far at this point, But again, thank you. My name's Ian.
I'm Al.
I'm Shane.
And this was Comic Book Wednesdays. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.